Hello, boys and girls. It's Christopher. No, James, I'm not stealing your thunder there. Um, that was a sad attempt at a James Freeman video there. Anyway, you get to watch the dryer spin with me this morning while I talk about something that's rather important. Now, I've watched a lot of first auditor videos. I've watched a lot of people that have been stopped by police and they've tried to assert their rights. It's important, boys and girls, that we assert the proper rights at the proper times. A lot of you people are disputing whether you have a Fourth Amendment right or Fifth Amendment right or whatever it is when you're stopped by the police, but you got to understand, folks, it's both. And you have to know what those rights are, and you have to invoke them and protect them correctly. Or what's going to end up happening is you're not going to know what you're talking about, and the officer's going to figure that out. Okay? So you get to watch the laundry this morning. You're not going to look at my ugly face because, well, let's be honest, it's ugly. So, it's a brief picture. Thank you. Now, I wouldn't want to look at me for 5-10 minutes. Now, listen, I got stopped yesterday. I was on my way through Baldwin County in Alabama, and that's just outside of Pensacola, Florida. By the way, any of you people that are considering moving to Florida, please do not go to Pensacola. You'll find beggars on every corner. The place is a mess. It's not the same place it was 22 years ago. The beaches are no longer pristine. Alabama beaches are pretty much the same way. They've discovered that they can make a lot of money at this, so they've completely commercialized the entire area, and it's ruined. It's ruined. We all knew it was going to happen. Unless you have $3,000 to put down on a place to live, you're not going to get that either. Oh, and the police are assholes. So, and you would be as you watch your little teeny weeny town turn into a gigantic commercial area with thousands of tourists every year and thousands of spring breakers. Well, I can guess you would turn into assholes after a while. Now, here's the deal, folks. Now, I went through a little town called Bay Minette. And Bay Minette is out of the reach of most of the tourist attractions, okay? Meaning they're far enough from the beach, they don't have to worry about it too much. But the cops there, nevertheless, are obviously control freaks and assholes. Because I got stopped by a corporal. This guy, within 30 seconds, was escalating to yanking me out of my vehicle because I wouldn't show him my license or my registration. Now, it's very important that you folks know that you have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. This does not mean become a deaf mute. This means that you do not have to identify yourself to that police officer who is stopping you for whatever infraction or whatever law he says that you're breaking, okay? You do not have to show this man anything. That means driver's license, registration, insurance. You don't have to show them any of these documents. They're going to demand it. They're going to say they have laws that say you have to show them, but you can beat them, all of them. Now, I got 3 tickets yesterday. One was for refusal to show insurance. Big deal. All I got to do is show a judge, I have insurance. He's already lost that ticket. Okay? That ticket's a goner. Second, not in possession of a driver's license. Now, folks, if you give them information, and by that information, I mean your name, birth date, those 3 items that they're always wanting that they have to have if they arrest you. You never have to show these people a driver's license. You are not a driver. You are a traveler. You are not in a vehicle. You are in a conveyance. You are in a car. You do not drive a vehicle. Vehicles are commercial. Vehicles are commercial pieces of metal, okay? The only time that you need a driver's license is if you are driving across state lines making money, and or B, driving for them. You are not driving for them. You are traveling from spot to spot. You know, I always like to put this one out there. Do I need a license to go from here to here? Oh, I don't need a license to do that. I don't need government's permission to move from point A to point B. Okay? Do I need a driver's license to get on my bike and ride across town? No, that's a little hunk of metal. But all of a sudden, when we get to graduate to big hunk of metal, all of a sudden we need the state's permission to move from A to B? No. Be clear, folks. You have a right to travel using any conveyance you choose. You choose to fly on a commercial airplane. Do you need a license? No. Only the guy driving it needs a license. Piloting it, okay? If you get on a bus, you move from one end of town to the other. Do you need a license? No. Only the guy driving for the city needs that license. You don't need one to get there. So why are we required to have licenses to drive ourselves? We're not. Important that you know this. You have a right to travel. B, you have a right to remain silent. That means that if you're not being suspected and or arrested for a crime, that you do not have to provide this man with anything he requires of you. The minute you show him a driver's license and or insurance and or a registration, you have now waived that right to remain silent. Then if the guy says, well, I need to know who you are so I can write you a ticket. No, he does not. Sure he does. Yeah, sure he needs to know who you are so he can write you a ticket. Okay? So give him the name, give him the birth date, let him look it up. Let him write the name on the ticket. You do not have to show a physical ID. Folks, you have a right, a Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. That means you do not have to provide this man with what he asked for when he asked for it. I don't care what the law says. Now I got another ticket. Failure to be in possession of a driver's license. Now, I'm sorry, but if you have a registered Alabama license and you are driving in Alabama, and they can check that and find out by giving them your name and your birth date, they can find out that you have an Alabama driver's license. So why do I need one to show him? I don't. I can leave that driver's license wherever I choose. Okay? As long as I have one and you can find it, why do you need to see it? It's like crack to them. Okay? They have to see these things. Why? Why is this such a big deal? They have to identify you. Okay? They don't. It's none of your business who I am. As long as I'm not breaking any laws. Okay? You want to write me a ticket? Write me a ticket. I guarantee you I'll beat them. You know, I made the guy a bet yesterday when he gave me all three of these tickets. I said, I'll bet you I beat each and every one of them. He would not shake my hand on the bet. Because he knows goddamn good and well I will beat them all. Now the third one is the most interesting. This one is failure to register a vehicle. He put in the description of this, this is a municipal code, meaning city law, that I cannot drive my vehicle through his city without a tag on or a registration or a title. That's bullshit, folks. In Alabama, the state law requires you to do these things within 30 days. As far as I'm concerned, that means as long as I'm insured, I can drive that son of a bitch anywhere I want to for 30 days without having to title it. Anyway, neither here nor there. Registering your vehicle is basically like giving the government your vehicle and saying, here, this belongs to you. I'd like to borrow it and drive it for a while, if that's all right with you. No, folks. You do not have to do any of these things. You do not have to register your vehicle or anything. And insurance, I'm sorry, but This one to me is a personal choice. Oh, yeah, sure. It makes the insurance companies all kinds of money. It sure as hell makes government all kinds of money because they can charge you $400, $500, $600, $700 for not having a damn insurance. And they can yank your license for a year or whatever. You know what? They did that to me once. Yanked my license because I didn't have insurance because I got in a wreck that was the other guy's fault, by the way. But I was in a no-fault state, which meant it was my fault if I didn't have insurance. No matter what. Even if it was the other guy's fault, 100%. It was my fault because I'm the guy that didn't have insurance. What a great scam this is, folks. But anyway, neither here nor there. We'll get back into that someday. Here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? That guy is completely wrong anyway, because state law trumps municipal law, okay? State law states that you have 20 days in Alabama to register your vehicle once you buy it. That means I don't give a shit about your stupid little city law. I'm going to beat that one because Alabama state law trumps that law. It wasn't long ago I was protesting outside of a hotel. They tried to tell me that because the city law said I could not protest, that I was not allowed to protest there. Okay? I said, so what you're telling me is the Constitution does not trump city law? Well, yeah, absolutely, it does. And I'm like, oh, really? Because you're telling, no, it doesn't, he said to me. Yeah, no kidding. Said, oh, I don't care what the Constitution says. City law says, you don't seem to understand here, pal. Where do you think these laws stem from? Well, they stem from your asshole control freakedness, but neither here nor there. You know, they have to come under the Constitution because the Constitution is what trumps everything. You have rights, okay? I don't give a shit. You have a right to stand outside and protest off of somebody's property. I'm sorry, you do. I don't care what your city ordinance says. I don't care that it says no loitering, whatever the case may be. I have a right to stand here with a sign and say whatever the hell I want to say. You can call the police on me 10 times until you get an asshole. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to be the guy that beats them because I'm the guy that knows his rights. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, you have a Fourth Amendment right against unlawful or unreasonable searches and seizures. And these people come up with all kinds of stuff for probable cause. Well, you were acting suspicious. Okay, well then show me the probable cause of the crime against suspiciousness. You can't do it. That's not probable cause. Once I had an officer in Des Moines, Iowa, stop me. And he goes, well, I have probable cause. And I said, what's the probable cause? He said, you're driving through a high crime neighborhood. Okay, pal. Number one, this is 6th Avenue in Des Moines, Iowa. Anybody that's from Des Moines, Iowa knows that there are only 3 paths down to the south side. East 14th, 2nd Avenue, and 6th Avenue. Everybody and their grandma takes 6th Avenue down. You're stopping me on 6th Avenue saying that I'm driving through a high crime neighborhood and this gives you probable cause to search my vehicle because I'm driving through there. I said, how many Mercedes have you stopped today? You let me go. You let me go. How many rich man's vehicles have you stopped today saying that same frickin' probable cause? Because I guarantee you that law would be struck down in 5 seconds. I don't believe that's an ability for a traffic stop anymore. But anyway, my point being is these people will dream up anything to get things out of you. They will say that it's against the law for you to not ID. That's bullshit, folks. You have a right to remain silent. It's your Fifth Amendment right. Utilize it. The minute you show him ID, driver's license, insurance, registration, you have therefore waived your right to remain silent. If you do not uphold that right, listen, if you have all the windows rolled up and you roll it down just a little bit, talk to this guy, and he demands this, or he says he's going to drag you out of the vehicle, or whatever the case may be, to drag me out of that vehicle, because I locked all my doors, to drag me out of this vehicle, you're going to have to break that window. As soon as you do that, you have lost everything. you have lost your case. And I'll tell you why. Because you have a right to privacy within your own vehicle. It's just like your home, folks. And if you live in it, it's more like your home. It is your home. All right? You have a right against unlawful searches and seizures. The minute he crashes that window without your consent, you're done, pal. So go ahead and drag me out of my vehicle. You will not make it. The minute the sergeant arrived, everything was cool. We took care of everything. We looked me up. He gave me the 3 tickets, but he'll lose all 3 of them. Because you can't convert the exercise of a constitutional right, folks, into a crime. Failure to identify, failure to comply. Oh, this is another one he tried to get me with. Failure to comply, that's a crime. Bullshit. Failure to comply with whom? Everyone? If I don't comply with my neighbor, does that mean I'm going to jail? No, it doesn't mean you're going to jail. Failure to comply with a fucking police officer is the same thing as complying with your neighbor. You don't have to comply with everything this jerk says. I don't give a shit what the law says. You can challenge it. You can get rid of it. Okay? These people are all forever dreaming up new stuff they can get you with. And most of it is unconstitutional. Please compare your rights to what the law says. Most of those laws are being written to protect them, not you. These laws don't protect you at all anymore. It protects them. Please look them up. Read them. Compare them. Constitutionally challenge these laws in a court of law. Take some time. Go down to the courthouse. Get rid of this son of a bitch. And you'll never have to be stopped for that law again. All right? You get me? All right. This Curse Brew's hanging out.